What if being a lazy student was actually the secret to perfect grades? While most students burn out trying to memorize the entire textbook, some of the top students in Japan do the opposite. They intentionally ignore most of the curriculum and focus only on the small part that actually appears in exams. They don't try to learn everything. They focus on the 20% that produces most of the results. Instead of traditional studying, they treat exams like a statistical game. Today, I'll show you exactly how this works. The 100% trap. Most students fall into the 100% trap. They believe that studying 100% of the material will lead to 100% results. But in reality, many textbooks contain a lot of information that rarely appears on exams. Top students in Japan use a concept called Deru-jun, which means order of appearance. Instead of organizing their notes by chapters or topics, they organize them by how often topics appear in past exams. Your brain has limited storage. If you fill it with low-value information, there is less space for the concepts that actually generate marks. To perform well, you need to accept one important idea. You don't have to know everything. Phase 1. The reverse audit. The first step is called the reverse audit. Put the textbook aside for a moment. Instead, open the past 5 years of exam papers. Create a simple table listing the main topics or chapters. Every time a topic appears in an exam, add a tally mark. After doing this, a pattern usually becomes clear. In many cases, 70 to 80% of the marks come from just 3 or 4 core topics. These are the areas where most of your effort should go. If certain chapters rarely appear in exams, they become lower priority. Your goal is not to study everything. Your goal is to study what actually appears on the test. This is what you could call strategic ignorance. Phase 2. The red sheet logic. The next step is changing how you study. In Japan, many students use a red transparent sheet that hides answers written in red ink. When they slide the sheet over the page, the answers disappear and they can test themselves instantly. But the real secret is not the tool, it's the logic behind it. Instead of reading information passively, they focus on question patterns. Rather than writing long notes, they write exam-style questions and short answers. For example, instead of writing a full explanation of a concept, write the exact question an examiner might ask and the one-sentence answer they expect. The goal is not just understanding the topic. The goal is recognizing how that topic appears in exam questions. You are studying the output pattern, not just the input information. Phase 3. Minimum viable knowledge. Once you identify the core topics, simplify them. For each important chapter, reduce the information to 3 key points. If the idea cannot be explained in 3 simple points, there is probably still too much unnecessary detail. This approach follows the 80-20 rule. If you master the most important 20% of the material, you can often answer the majority of exam questions. Most students try to learn everything but only remember it vaguely. A better strategy is to know the most important material extremely well. The psychological barrier. The biggest obstacle to this method is fear. Students worry about the rare question that might appear from a topic they ignored. But statistically, it is far better to master the high-yield topics than to spread your attention thin across everything. Knowing the key material deeply leads to faster answers, more confidence, and fewer mistakes. When you shift your mindset from learning everything to maximizing your score, studying becomes much more focused. Conclusion and the challenge. The smartest students are not the ones who know the most. They are the ones who know exactly what to ignore. Here's a simple challenge. Pick one subject and look at the past exam papers. Find a chapter that almost never appears. For now, skip it. Use that extra time to focus on the chapters that show up again and again. That is the first step towards studying strategically instead of just studying harder.